So I said this pitch involved movies, TV, and video games. It does. But let me start in a slightly dark place so the light at the end of the tunnel is brighter. In 1900, domesticated livestock accounted for 78% of the total mass of land animals in the world, mammals in the world, and wild animals were 22%. So on one side, you have cattle, goats, dogs, cats, and the other raccoons, badgers, bears, antelope, deer, mountain lions, moles, lion, everything. So it was 78 to 22%. The question is, guess where it is today? The number one is 70 to 30, number two, 80 to 20, three, 90 to 10, four, 95 to 5, 5, 97 to 3. Well, it's number 5, 97 to 3. And if you throw in human populations, it's actually 99 to 1. So one way to look at this is that our side won. We and domesticated entourage took over. And it's not only the four-legged birds, alone among dinosaurs, survived the ecological meteor, but they're not doing as well against us. 1/3 of North American birds vanished in the last 50 years. We know less about insects. It's clear they've fallen off charts. Fish populations have shrunk even more, and fish themselves, because it takes years to get big and we tend to remove them first. We can't fix this overnight. It will take millions of years for lineages to recover. We can't ignore it, but if we do, we'll be surprised by consequences. It's not just that there aren't animals, birds, insects, fish, and that there used to be. The problem is we don't have a memory of what used to be because photographs are only 50 or 80 years old, and we don't have a picture in our mind's eye of what filled up landscapes look like. And there's a solution to this. Hollywood, especially Westerns. People all over the world love movies about the Wild West, but these movies never showed a Wild West. So movie trains see Indians or show Indians when they go through plains, but not the millions of buffalo that before 1870 were so thick wagons couldn't move. And once train tracks were laid and the mass slaughters happened, their carcasses would line the tracks for hundreds of miles. Railroad workers wrote you could traverse an entire state on their hides. Passenger pigeons covered the skies. They were described as giant air rivers, a nonstop flood that would go on for hours. As stupendous a sight as a tornado funnel, which many Western movies have. There were armies of insects, a much bigger problem for cowboys than cattle thieves. A buzzing background never heard on Western soundtracks. So American culture still reflects that it's the land of milk and honey. Back in the 1800s, there were so many trees, if a farmer didn't have a roaring fire all the time, he was lazy. And that's when conspicuous consumption got going. We have the culture, but not the picture of what started it. Hollywood couldn't show Texas ranch country full of wolves, bears, antelope, bighorn sheep. They did show life is hard. It was tough because of disease and lack of water, not lack of game and food. Movies couldn't show that because game wasn't thick when they were made. The sky wasn't being blotted out by the migration of 100,000 red-tailed hawks, or the thunder caused by the migrations of elk, which were almost as numerous as bison. They couldn't show rivers of passenger pigeons that dominated life the same way highway traffic does to us, because by the 20th century, these birds were extinct. But movies and video games can. Westerns are the place to start. Almost every Western could be redone with the real Wild West present. Computer graphics, CGI, ironically, the epitome of artificial life, can be harnessed to reveal the natural world we left behind. So environmental science needs to step up and estimate wildlife populations, movements, interactions, insects, fish, birds, Tom Sawyer didn't pull today's fish out of the Mississippi. He got fish you can only dream of. But isn't this what movies are? Dream factories. So this will revitalize Westerns. It'll also give people, especially younger people, a picture of the natural world in their mind's eye. These pictures gestate and motivate learning and doing. People will find solutions to extinction problems when they can recognize it, see it, turn it, and which abstract knowledge can't do. So it's a win-win. Movies, TV serials, video games can exploit CGI renditions showing the wildlife their stories are embedded in. Not the occasional animal, but their massive number, giant sizes. We don't need to invent Jurassic Park. We need to reproduce a world that isn't lost, just forgotten. So I need you to go out and find out and advise me how to form a lobby, how to hashtag this, how to get a petition going that can get attention of the head offices of Netflix, Paramount, and Disney. This is a bottom-up opportunity and everyone can contribute. Think of how incredible it could be if we could mobilize a movement to show the real Wild West. And I believe we can make it happen. So one day you'll look at your screen and the characters will fall into the shadow of thousands of passenger pigeons overhead. Even if our world is empty now, we'll know what it looked like before. And that will change things. Thank you.